Good evening, folks, and welcome back to Biblical Britain Uncoded, or Matrix, star constellations, and everything else you can think of in creation uncoded. Right, okay. Obviously, I said that my last video was the job finish, but I've always said if I keep getting code, I'll continue. And after praying, I said, yeah. I said, you give me code and I'll put it out there. Well, let me tell you, I got the, well, I don't even know how to put this. Next level is an understatement, because I've got that much code. I've tried to put it into everything as best I can into it, but on top of this, there's a lot more going on. I could make a second video, to be honest, just on this. I know, and for anybody new, this is going to sound absolutely insane, but there's this really haunted channel that this Alexa is kind of interrupting his ghostly experience and sending me messages, obviously. And on that note as well, on the last one, if you remember, one of the messages was event, I don't know if I spelled imminent right, is it double M? I'm not sure, but event imminent, and it said 235711. And I went to uncode, but I realised that what I thought it might be, and I was dubious about it, it wasn't. So I said, I'll scratch that, and if I work out where it is, I'll come back to you. Okay, on that note, right. Firstly, before I go any further, I want to thank two people. Damon in Ireland, or MacTire, I think is it MacTire you go by on here, buddy? But he basically, him and Justin over in, where are you, Norfolk or Suffolk, go up that way, Norfolk. I know you're in Iceni territory, but both of these guys, both of them do I know they do their Sabbath, and they've done the right thing. They put their hands up, and well, they've both. I can't take. I've opened up a lot of code on the back of what they pointed out or what they found. So I want to congratulate them, because as I would call it, they've been tetragrammatons. They've been hit. So it's been put to find these things. Unbelievably, this 235711 are actually map coordinates. Now, if you remember in the last video, we found the Atlantis key using the emerald tablets of Thoth. Okay, well, this goes a step further, because I've uncoded a lot more. At first, for anybody listening new, I thought this Thoth thing was, I don't know, I never look at these type of works. I kind of stay away from it, but this kept popping up. In the end, I thought, okay, I'll have a look. Anyway, one thing and another, it opened up a whole, something absolutely incredible. Well, the main thing was we found the message basically written between Land's End, to go into it all, but the message was, I am Thoth, Atlantis Key, Ra Zion Curse, Ocean Swallow Land, Tai Eden H. Okay, anybody new, that's going to be a bit confusing to you, but what we established was that the Isles of Scilly, or the Scilly Isles, just off Cornwall, or just off Land's End, which is going to become apparent with something else, because today we're going to absolutely, as unbelievable as it is, and how this interlocks and interlinks is insane. We're going to tie together the Emerald Tablets of Thoth code, and we've got more of it. Astonishing stuff, I can assure you. We got more 369 code, which Damon as well gave me. The 369 equates to a date, which is going to become apparent, which also ties to the Atlantis code as well. We're going to cover, so you've got the Tesla 369, Thoth, Tesla, Solomon, as crazy as this sounds, my job, and a prophecy that we'll get into it, but something incredible, and then on top of that, then Solomon, and this is without even hitting really haunted, and I think there's more to this. To be honest, there's that much, but you'll see how all this connects together is absolutely impossible, But we're going to go with it. All right. This is a pretty poor version, but I realise as well, if I line up the set, the second pyramid of Giza and draw a line directly through it. The first one hits the key up here, which is the Atlantis key. The first, the Great Pyramid hits this key. This is the key, obviously the key of wisdom that Thoth talks about. And right, there's multiple keys, but I've worked them all out. Right, okay. But the second pyramid, when you line it up, it'll go to Land's End, but because it's over such a long distance, it'll actually hit the Scilly Isles as well. Well, this grid right, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, Damon found it. It's a grid reference. I'm not sure what app he uses or which one it is. Maybe you could put something in the comments, Damon, just for people to work it out. But he sent me a picture of it, and it, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let me just see if I can enlarge it a bit. Try and keep Cornwall. I don't know if you can see this very well, but I don't know. It's probably not the best. But if you can see the kind of leg of Cornwall, then you've got this little dot, the Scilly Isles. It's the top one, the orange pin. That's the SV23. Hang on, SV235711 grid reference. Like I say, extraordinary though that it lands in such a place. So my guess is, and I don't know just the shape of this. I don't believe a word of Plato. And I don't believe either that Hermes thrice great is. I think that's a massive deception as well. He is not. All that's a copy of Thoth, basically, or trying to take on to make out to lead you in the wrong direction. Where he claims Atlantis is, I don't know where he says it is, up by Greece or something. It isn't. That's a deception. I don't know. I'm not sure what Atlantis must have looked like. Maybe it looked like that or something. I don't know. I think maybe that's the centre of Atlantis, but for sure, the chances of those coordinates, which I didn't know what they were even about on the last one, turn out to be, well, I didn't even know they were coordinates, but when you grid reference them, they land just north of the Scilly Isles where we uncoded Atlantis. And I'm quite sure this is the tetragram I'm working through, event imminent, and there's more to come on that. A video since has said, are you prepared? But it did say that eyes open, not seeing, or words to that effect. And then I realised, and it was on about something, an alignment. Well, I worked out what all this is, and it actually got me to solve this amazing part of this puzzle, which you're about to see. Okay. So, right, so for the first thing, I just wanted to clear that one up. So that's the 235,711. And I'm absolutely confident that is probably the centre point of where Atlantis is. It's just off Cornwall. Tie it with all the other things, believe me or not, but I guarantee you that's where it is. Right, okay, moving on because we've got a lot to go on. So bear with me seconds while I rewrite the board. Okay, folks, I know I mentioned this on the last one. For anybody new, I know this is gonna sound crazy to start with, but believe me, there's a reason for everything in this code. And what it's really doing is showing you that we really do live in a simulation, as the 369 code confirms, which you'll see in a bit. I mean, I've done it before, so some of you will know what that says about the simulation. But we live in a simulated reality. We're free will, but it's all been calculated beforehand, and somehow this incredible code has been implanted into the simulation. Somehow I've connected to this, well, what we know as the Black Knight satellite, which I've decoded as a tetragrammaton. I only know it's doing it because for a long time I didn't know where the code was coming from, and then it gave me the code to actually decode it in a map in multiple ways. And basically the secret of the Masonic chessboard, or the checkerboard, the chessboard, is the Black Knight. That's the kind of code which I've uncoded in the past. However, right, we need, right, so bear with me, because this is not I don't want this is far from about me, but this is about something much, much bigger. But the most important thing that I'm trying to get across with this and this simulation is this date. Okay, now this date has passed, but there's a reason for it. And to be honest, up until just before it, I actually thought this may be the date of the arrival of the evac ship, the Argus. But Obviously it didn't happen, but what it did, it opened up a second date, which led to a third date, which leads to a fourth date. And well, like I say, you'll see when we get there. Okay, Atlantis. When I first started this, I made this great big map, which is your map 10. With it, that really haunted thing, keep saying map 10. It did it on two videos ago, or three, or yeah, 2 videos ago, and it kept, right, I couldn't find the map 10 bit. I found the saucepans with the star map and everything, but in that video, fortunately, I didn't have to find it, because it started blurting out map 10 over and over and over, and then it started going into things that tie to what I'm about to show you, or what I will be showing you as we get there. Okay, so take the word Atlantis, it's Atlantis. Okay, and then I for some reason, when I first started this, I had no clue about Thoth, about anything to do with this this kind of code. And I really, well, I don't know why, that just came in my head. I even wrote it on the map. I put at Land's End Tis, actually, but like old English. But looking at it, it's at Land's End or Land's End Tis, whichever. But the added letters you add to it are DS ends. Okay. Now, DS is my door, right. And I know, again, stick with it, people, because we're going to, this is, like I say, this is just using this to just timestamp dates, okay, for a reason, as you'll see. So my DS is my door supervisor badge. Okay, bear in mind this is all to do with the Book of Job, which is the book of the job, because I have 2 jobs. Basically, I have this job, my security job, which I do these videos whilst working, because I've got a great job, and obviously the job 99, which is all going to become apparent, or the 999 job is the code, the 999 evac, or the hospital evac, and again, all this will come into play as we move on. All right, so right, that's only the first bit. When you see the part of the Solomon, when we start the Solomon part, I'll bring this back in, but you're going to see something absolutely incredible, because I made a prediction without even knowing it from Solomon. Well, I made, there's 2 predictions in it. One is obvious, the other wasn't, but it is now because it happened. Right, I'll get to that as we move on. Bear with me a second. Okay, folks, as you can see above, it's slightly missing the top, but it says the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Okay, now he tells you to seek with the wisdom in his words, and he literally means it. Okay, on the last one, like I say, we saw the wisdom of his words, we found Atlantis. Okay, right, now here's where it gets absolutely crazy. Okay, right, I kind of just realised something else. Well, right, okay, I'm going to do this. Right, now, right, he says, seek ye first a place bound with darkness. Okay. Place ye a circle around about thee. Stand erect in the midst of the circle. Use thou this formula and thou shalt be free. Okay. Okay, I think this is what he's pertaining to. Okay, I haven't put any arms on it. Okay, this is the circle, basically. Okay, right. And the reason I haven't put any arms on it is because the next part says, and thou shalt be free. Raise thou thine hands in the dark space above thee. Close thine eyes and draw in the light. Okay, bear with me while I do this. This is going to look familiar to anybody who's been following these videos. When I pray, that's how I do it, basically. I stand the letter Y with my head bowed forward. The reason for the 2 dots is because when you take the Great Seal of Solomon, and you know it's the river Severn, and he's looking in the water, there's a lot more to this, basically, and it also gives you the paper ship, which is the Argus. The local paper for where I live is the Argus, in the kingdom of Mon, or Monmouthshire, Solomon's kingdom. Okay, and so the word Severn, the river Severn, is it's seen RV, so it's seen river RV, I suppose. But let's just do the scene RV, because on the map, this is the exact if I do the reflection. This is the Cancer constellation, basically, that goes onto the map, which then indicates these two there are the forts. If on the map, this would be the key fort, which I showed in the last video, among others, that points from the Giza pyramid. And then you've got this padlock on the Temple of Solomon. Okay, which is inside the fort of Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem, named after the constellation Rus, broken from the constellation Argus Navis, the ship. Okay, which is where, again, why you get the paper ship. Okay. Right, but here's where it gets amazing. So I realised what he was kind of getting at with this, and I'm thinking, okay, this relates to the map. Okay, right, and then he says to call on these names. Right, now I don't know why, but I just get this sense. Well, it's obviously put there, but I get this sense, something in these words. The first time I tried it, I couldn't quite get it, but there's a missing piece of the puzzle, because he says, call out Antanas, Quertas, Shirtel and Goyana, Hurtel, Semveta, Ardal, by their names I implore thee, free me from darkness and fill me with light. Okay, interestingly enough as well, the word darkness I'm going to put, I crossed out an S there, I'm going to go send and then arcs. It's an anagram of send arcs, funnily enough. So, right, okay, so if we can relate this to sending arcs, that would be pretty, and I think the light from darkness to light ships. So out of the darkness, he sends arcs basically to come and collect the people. Okay, right, so if we can connect that to this, that's going to be pretty astonishing, I think. Right, simply again, this is, and like I say, there's more to this than just anagram, people. Anybody new? We've got map pictures, we've got tons of stuff in this Atlas matrix, or this matrix. Okay, right, okay, now I'm going to tell you the message that I got from this, and if anybody else can pull any message from this, because there's so many flaming A's in it, and every time I couldn't get it at first, but then I realised the only thing missing was his name, same as the last code, where he tells you to call in his name 3 times, which we'll be coming to, because that links to this as well. Chekatet, Alatek and Volmanites. Well, when I added Thoth and then untied it, it said Marco tie the quest H to the evac hill, but you got to say it 3 times, and then I pointed out hospital H-man, hill fort key. Okay, right, more on that, because that ties in everything with this. Okay, right, bear with me a second and I'll just write up letter for letter what this says, and it's no accident, trust me. Okay folks, what are the chances? Right, I've actually rejigged this a bit initially, and on my paperwork and there's a reason I've changed it. I put the Atlas, a quest, a Holy Covenant, the Argus, Alien, Armada, Truth. Now I know it uses the word alien, but anything basically outside of this world, in the sense of the term, is alien to us. It's things that we're not kind of aware, well, they're not us basically, or not exactly like us. Okay. Funnily enough, the Old Testament says the alien that sojourns among you. I wonder what that means. But a quest, the Holy Covenant, the Atlas, right? Now what I've done is I've changed it. A quest, the Holy Covenant, the Atlas, the Argus, Alien, Armada, Truth. Now the reason I put the Atlas there is going to become apparent at the end, because hurtling through space at this point in time, I will get into this a bit more, is an object that is not acting like a comet. It's massive and it's heading to Earth basically, and this is NASA have announced this, and whoever, I don't know, space agency or whatever, but it is currently heading towards Earth and expected to pass at the speed it's going, which is astronomical, 138,000 miles or kilometers an hour, I don't know, but it's some ridiculous speed. Estimate to pass the Earth in October. Right, okay, but that's assuming that this is going full speed and it's on a trajectory to Earth, and it says its course its course is unpredictable as well. Supposing if it follows apparently if it follows the same course, this is assuming they're telling us the truth, it goes past Mars and something, but comes within our range. But it's an unknown object, and it's called 3I Atlas. Now, I might be wrong on this, I don't know, but I got a feeling that this code is trying to tell me something, and it ties in with a date that we're going to get to. And I'm not going to say ultimately this is the date of the evac, but everything on, well, like I say, you make your own mind up. I don't want to commit to it, and it's wrong. I'm absolutely positive this ship is coming, and there is no doubt and everything that's happened in the world. The only thing that's been out of line so far is we need, well, not need the war. I don't really want the war to kick off, but it's going to anyway. But we'll come to that, because that's the Cancer constellation prophecy, which is also important for that 30th of June date. This will all make sense as we go, so bear with me. Okay, right, now, the Ark of the Covenant, the first Ark of the Covenant, is a box, but it happens to have a mercy seat. Now, why would a box have a mercy seat? Because the second covenant is an ark, an ark ship of the covenant. The second covenant is the promise of an ark ship. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, and this is Solomon's paper ship, which is on the Seal of Solomon with the one I just showed you. It's got if you look at it, it's got a star cut in half, and in the reflection, basically I decoded it. It's the Atlas starship on the Gwent levels. Gwent as well is where Monmouthshire is. The fuller place for Jerusalem would be Jerusalem, Gwent, Monmouthshire, Gymru being Wales in Welsh, which is obviously anagrams to my name, Mr. Guy. Right, without getting into that though, right, a quest to Holy Covenant, the Atlas, the Argus, alien armada truth. Now, I told you long ago that there's basically an armada coming, an armada of ships with a royal escort of Gabriel, the four angels, I forget which were, but without getting too deep into it, that's what's happening. Okay, and we're going to open this up even more as we move on. Right, okay, so again, this was found in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. If you print it off, it must be in chapter, must be 5, 6, 7, must be chapter 6, I think it is. Okay, and it's right towards the end, and it tells you to do it. Okay, but again, it's found in the Wisdom in the Words. Right, bear with me a second, because we're now going to move on to Tesla. And when I say Tesla, not the car, Nikola Tesla, because I decoded his space signal and his 369, but I forgot one thing, and I'm glad in a way I did, or it was meant to be. It probably this thing blanks things from my mind so that I bring it up at the right time. Now is the right time. Okay, bear with me a second. Okay, folks, right, 369. Again, right, there's more to this, and this is where that badge DS thing comes in just after this. Okay, so the tribes decoded. What I did, going back, I decoded the lost tribes of the land of Siluria, not Israel, where the fort Jerusalem and all this, what I'm showing you, all this code relates to. Okay. The tribes decode when I use the names of the tribe: Zebulon Regnensis, which is they're on the map. They're a British tribe. They're called the Regnensis. Gad is the Dumentai, I think, or Dumente, or something along those lines. And Simeon are the Siluri. The Siluri being the chosen people, not the Israelites. Siluria being the chosen land, not Israel. The ancient land of Siluria, which is in South Wales. Okay. Right, now, what I found, I forgot to put on that same video, and maybe with good reason, well, maybe it was just meant for now. Okay, each of these tribes have got emblems, and as you can see, I've drawn the emblems on there, and I'll just show you. There's multiple, some of them have got multiple emblems, but I don't know if you can see this. It spells Zebulon wrong. If you Wikipedia, it says also Zebulon, because they change things and switch them, and then you've got to try and, I hunt them down and find them. But Zebulon is a ship, Gad is a knight on a horse, and Simeon is a fort. Okay, and the fort, right, unbelievably, the 369, okay, the actual tribe decode says Scene Eden, Omega, beginning and end, G Rus LZ. G Rus is the fort, so the fort is, well, yeah, let's just put it there, it'd be easier. Actually, let's put it there. So we got the fort is Jerusalem, which is modern day Kaiowent, or what's been changed from Jerusalem to Venta Silurum to hide it. And what you've got, the ship, is the Atlas starship, the Argus Navis. The constellation that was broken up to give you G Rus the crane, which is basically what the fort was named after. And then you've got the Melin reverse, which is Melin, which is the key fort. Okay, but what you notice there is you've got a knight, and I never understood this because it was a bit weird, but obviously it's so obvious to me now, it's frightening. It's the Black Knight. It's the secret of the Masonic chessboard on the temple. So you can almost put the temple in the middle of there because that's where it all locks in, basically. And this is the rendezvous for the Argus Navis starship in the fort of Jerusalem. And I got it by decoding. Well, that gives you the temple, but it also tells you this is where I get this information from. How that is even possible, I do not know, folks. But understand what I'm showing you is pretty much all been decoded in the space of 3 weeks, and I wasn't even looking for it, to be honest, until Justin and Damon kind of kicked it all off, and then it just started, and it's been flowing beautifully in this month. Which sometimes it tends to leave it all to the last minute, but everything is by design and it's all timed. So okay, and as you'll see, this leads to something else. Okay, right, now it gets really strange. Okay, let me just do, oh, I should have left that there really, the 369. Okay, now remember, obviously we've got Thoth's Atlantis is the DS ends. Right, and 30th of the 6th is my birthday as well, by the way, which is obviously significant because that, well, as you're going to see, the portal, the Masonic, what's it, the Royal Arch is well, it's the Royal Gwent Hospital, the RGH where I was born, as you're going to see, and that decodes the portal in and the portal out. And when you see what I got to back that up, you're going to be, well, you should be amazed. Okay, 369. Okay, right, first thing we're going to do, like I say, this is nuts. Right, so my DS ends on the 30th. So we got an Atlantis code 30th, and this is, and after this, there's another one that just is, well, it's mind-boggling. 25. Okay, what this is doing, I can tell you now, is pinning the target for the dartboard. It's a dartboard, and this is all, we're going to play a kind of divine game of darts, I suppose, but showing the creator is fully aware that it's not an old man in a dressing gown stuck in the past, as even I was kind of led to believe, but he's actually past, present and future, knows the past, the present and the future, and that's what this is all about. But the future is closely closing in, okay, or the finality of it, and the simulation ends Nibiru. Right, okay, all we're going to do, well done Damon for spotting this. Two plus 5. Okay, I think what we're looking for as well is a 0, 0, 0 hour, because we've got a 9, 9, 9, and this is all going to become apparent before long. Okay, well, it's pretty simple. All you do to get this is you take the first 0 and put it there. You take the second 0 and put it there, and the third 0 just replaces that and goes there. We can close the gap. Okay, so from, not only do we have an Atlantis code for the 30th of the 6th, 2025, it's not the evac date, obviously, because it's past, but what it did is, well, I know what it is now and I understand it. It's confirming all the target and the job, and it's combining it all together and synchronizing it but showing that these all these codes that I've been encoding, even though they're so far apart, or you would think they're so far apart, are actually all very intricately linked. And it's showing you that, what did he say? I show you things in ancient times, so when they come to happen, you know I did it, and I am your creator and savior. There is no other. This is Yahweh, and that's his real name, and it's not the Yahweh of Israel either, the mimic or the demiurge, I think it is. What they're worshipping, I do not know, but they're killing. I better not say too much, but let's just say they're not doing it in the name of the real creator. I can assure you, it's just pure evil. Okay, so right now it's going to get even more bizarre because I've got to make it right. I've got to work right. Bear with me a second, folks. Right, but as you can see, we've got 30th of 6th twice now. Right, bear with me while I got to try and get this in my head and write it up before I start so I don't get confused myself. Okay, folks, now it gets real weird. Okay, I said my job started, or my deal started. COVID kicked in 2020, I think the end of March. Basically, I rattled my business along, but I started doing Sabbath. I went into some, I don't even know whether you call it a trance or something, and I started, I don't know, getting these weird codey type things and started looking into different things. I don't know, one thing and another anyway. Come my birthday on the 30th of June 2020, obviously I had a business, Anglo-Welsh Security Limited, and it was saying things like, obviously you can't send your servants and maid servants out on the Sabbath. Now, anyone who knows security knows that the Sabbath is a Saturday, which is like, if there was one day to kill a security business, you can't work or send people out, that is it. All by design, I assure you. Okay, so I gave up my business, and I came to the decision to give it up, where I rung a guy and handed it over. I think I gave him a penny actually for it, or it was either a penny or a pound. I think it might be a penny, but there may be something in that. Okay, so anyway, I basically made the decision. I said, and I remember saying, okay, you've showed me a few things so far, which really were laughable by what I've got now. And I was like, all right, I'm going to trust you. And I literally gave up my business. I could, and I was still and I still had a contract going at this point, which would have probably seemed, well, I don't think would have allowed me to carry on with it. It just wasn't happening. And I had this sensation this pressure that I cannot even describe to give it up on my birthday. And now I understand why. Okay, now my company's name, unbelievably, was Anglo-Welsh Security Limited. I just randomly called it. I had reasons for calling it, but anyway, when I encoded that, because you can guarantee that, like I say, it just puts in my head, go there, decode this. I did. Anglo-Welsh Security Limited. You have to use the full title of the company. CLRGHO, I will sync time due. Okay, now this is where it gets absolutely astonishing. This is the matrix simulation, everything. My whole life seems to be a big part of this simulator. I've certainly been running with it. Right, okay, now what you'll notice is here, I've done the 30th of the 6th, so 2020, 21, that's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years. This is that 30th of June 20, so this is the 30th of June 2025, okay, that is now. Okay, so we got 5 years. Okay, now years where it gets really weird. This year, and this is where I was thinking maybe this ship was going to come on my birthday, because it kind of like give that impression. But the only thing that was out of sync was the war. The war hasn't really taken place yet, because in the Cancer constellation, you take all the stars in it. It says, and you do the anagram thing, and it says Israel, Iran begin, opens up last conflict, USA, China, Europe, UK, Russia, and then it says bolt thy last I am Jew message, seal all. This is to do with bolting it to the ladder, which is and then with Jacob's ladder you decode it, it's the Argus Navis basically, in short. Okay, so, and then it says I will sync time due. This says I will sync time due. So you can, if we can, like I say, how I can even do this, I do not, well, I know how I do it, but I don't know how to explain how I do it. Right, okay, now, what I didn't realise, it's a game of dart, right. going back, well, funnily enough, 3 years ago, right in the middle, and I know it's 3 years because it popped up on my Facebook feed, and I posted it on my King Solomon's Temple Found and Decoded Facebook group, the kind of reminder, or I put it on my own profile, one of the two, but it's out there, so it's recorded, and right, and I basically drew this dart, which we'll come to the dart shortly. I've skipped a bit here, I think. Nicola Tesla, right, okay, all right, I'll start with this anyway, okay. Right, what we're doing, we've got, right, we know the code is 999, and we've got the 000, so we're going to, right, this is a clue itself, but from the 1st of January 2025, and this is where it hit me that this is a game of darts, to the 30th of the 6th 2025, go on, have a guess how many days. 180. There's 180 days. Now this triggered something because I thought that's strange, okay. Right, then I don't even know how I worked this out, but this game of darts is 999, you know, like you get 501 in traditional darts and you throw the darts and then you have to finish with bullseye. Right, this is a game in itself. Unbelievable though when you see how it predicts. Right, okay, so what we've got, and this is just this is the kind of like coded score that you need to get. Well, I worked it out that if I hit 180 on the first year, full score on the second year, literally keeping the covenant, 180. I did slip once, but I think that was overlooked because it's a long story. But okay, and I kept my Sabbath and everything else. Well, I got a top mark for each year. Okay, 180, 5 times 180 is actually 900, which leaves us a score of 99. Okay, right, now we got to work out where the 99 is. Now this is where it gets real bizarre. Right, let me just hold that there a minute. I'm going to show you one thing before, just to tie up this 30th of June thing, and then I'll come and I'll reduce this 99, well, we'll reduce the 99 score because we need 3 bullseyes, or a triple tau. If you're familiar with Solomon, you'll know that the Freemasons have the thing called the triple tau. Well, I worked out I know what it is. It's a timeline, and it's a triple Taurus. It's a triple Taur, and then you just add Taurus bullseye on the temple, basically. Okay, bear in mind that I was put into the matrix, or my mother and father, and I was in the womb on the temple itself, literally on top of it, I think. And my mum's kitchen literally looks out, or at the time looked out on the lock. That ties with Job, and he says, "Canst thou abide by thy crib?" Well, I don't. I live 5 minutes from it. Okay, without confusing it, but this number 99, you're going to know is this relates now to Job 9:9. You know that the kind of golden code is Job 9:9. Now we're going to work out how this connects to this triple Taurus bullseye. Triple Taurus bullseye on the temple. Right, bear with me a second. Okay, right, now it gets real weird. Right, the word hexagram, Solomon's hexagram is a code in itself. I decoded it before, and this is exactly what I decoded. Okay, even the word hexagram has got a code in it. So you got and if you take the word shapes, which I'll explain that now, as it's he pass. Just an additional bit. Okay, so right. Hexagram, anagram, RGH, exam, a pass. Now, if you've been following this code, you'll know that the R is the river, Jerusalem, and the hill fort, and this is the royal arch. If we do it on the template, you've got the pillars of Solomon, which identify the temple. Basically, is the royal arch on temple. I'm born in Cancer as well. 30th of June is in Cancer. What you do is you draw the Cancer constellation on it as a template. These are places. This is the hill fort key on a map. This is Jerusalem, which is your padlock, literally a padlock on the stonework of the temple, and your R is your Royal Arch. Okay, the Royal Arch in Cancer is also the Royal Gwent Hospital, the RGH, as well as the, if you do it on the map, it's the River Jerusalem and Hillfort. If you do it on the template, it's the Royal Arch Jerusalem Hillfort. But either way, again, it's the RGH. Where I was born on the 30th of June 1970. That's my birthday, is the 30th of June. This is why it all comes together. Right, okay, the pass bit comes because to pass this test and find this RGH, I had to decode the P, the pyramids, A for Atlas, S for stars, or the constellation messages, and the S for the seals of Solomon. When you put it all together, obviously there's shapes as well. He passed, just in case the first bit's a coincidence. Right, now it gets amazing, because little did I know that I only do, well, I've only ever, since I left school, I've done probably, I don't even know, that I can remember. Oh, I think I did a food hygiene when I was younger. And since then the only ones I'd done was just over 3 years ago. I had to do this upskilling course for my SIA badge to get the 6th badge. And then I had to do a course, and there's no way of factoring this. You do not know how long. Well, it's incredible that badge came back on my birthday. They don't put your birthday on it. It was just, well, it was clearly planned, but outside of you, there's no way of knowing. You know whether you're going to get it in 3 days, a month. I mean, this one I got rapid. It was ridiculously quick. But I also did an exam. Okay, you had to do this upskilling or whatever it is, the private security in door supervision, award 2, I don't know, whatever it is, this blinking course that cost me a fortune to do. And basically, right, unbelievably, well, it can take up to 20 days, it said. I did it on I think it was it the 16th to the 19th of June? I was a bit late with it. But unbelievably, guess what date I got the certificate back and the pass date on it? Would you believe it? Go on, have a guess. 30th of June 2025. There you go. Marco John Guy, Highfields Level 2 Award, Security Industry Authority, with a pass date. So excuse me, the only date of me doing an RGH, and it was obviously the pass date again, unbelievably, is the 30th of the 6th. I'm hoping you can see the synchronicity in this and realise that there is no way on this earth that this is coincidental. What Ya's doing is using me to show you, and bear in mind as well, the RGH bit is where I was, that's the name of the hospital I was born in. Obviously, the date I was born, 3 times, how is this even possible? And for me to even notice these things and find it is, and like I say, there's no way on earth I could have fixed any of this. This is in a previous video. The RGH exam pass, I assumed, was just the RGH exam pass, and that's how I sort of passed it on. Little did I know that I was literally going to do an RGH exam pass on the very year that lines up with everything else. So as you can see, we definitely live in a matrix. Now, let's go back to the dartboard. This is where it gets absolutely incredible. Okay, folks, right, now to the map tricks of Job 9:9. Okay, now the book of Job, the kind of priceless code in Job is written in Job 9:9. And it says, who makes Orion, Arcturus, and the Pleiades, and something about the chambers of the south. Well, this all becomes apparent. Okay, firstly, when you take the full constellation name, Orion the Hunter, and you use Arcturus the star, and then you use Pleiades the seven sisters, and you basically anagram it down, it says, I see truth return, so I return on H. Please set evac HIDs. Okay, so we're going to find these HIDs because these HIDs are all written in the bullseyes on the. Well, this will make sense as we go on. Firstly, in the book of Job, it says, well, it goes on about the dart, and it says, the words or something laid upon, the sword that laid upon him, sword is words, cannot hold the spear, dart, or the habergeon. I'm cutting this short a little bit. Right, but on the map I've got this dart, this spear. The spear comes down, hits the key fort. The dart hits the temple, which is on the basically in the moon sign that I showed you. So what it's done is created this, and this is in code as well. You've got this, basically you've got this. This is the bullseye on the temple, and this dart comes this way. It's the dart, the Job's dart, basically, and it hits the bullseye on the temple. Okay, this is the dart, and it's made up, as I remember, Coombe Keynes, Alma, Mapperton, Temple Coombe, Shepton Mallet, I think. Oh, I forget. I've done, they're all in previous videos anyway, but basically, and then you hit Coen Temple. Now, when I take all the place names and then unscrabble it, and bear in mind I did this about 3 years after I drew the dart, and I also drew this dart somewhere in the middle, the middle of those 5 years, directly in the middle year. Only know that because of Facebook, but when I later uncode it, because I did some scrabbly little code that I was trying to, obviously, the tetragram and get me to place it out, not knowing that there's a real code in it. Then, obviously, later, about 2 years later or 2.5 years later, then when everything starts to come together and I start to uncode more and more and more and more, I go back, I get taken back to it, and then I uncode the real one. And what it says is uncode map target on Coen Temple B. So when connect map key to Orion belt, Corsham names me. This is just from the place names. Well, Corsham does name me. It names me because it's an anagram of Marcos H. Now, he also says the Chambers of the South. Well, I actually realised that the place, right, where I am in Corsham, the place, this is where I am right now, is underneath here is mines. And they're called East, and this place is called, well, it's actually called Eastleigh's Corsham. Well, this is where it gets crazy because, and this is why I changed the atlas around. Right, Eastleigh's, and this is what I think he's trying to tell me something, but, right, okay, so it's Eastleigh's, where I work. Is that it? Let me just check. Oh, I missed a T. Okay, let's try that again. Eastleigh's. Is that right? Yeah, Eastleigh's. Eastleigh's is an anagram of Yes Atlas. We got an Atlas starship, obviously, but I think this Atlas is trying to tell me something about this incoming Atlas. I think that thing, well, it seems to point that it could be the ship. Okay, we'll come to that though. Okay, so Eastleigh, yes, Atlas, and then you've got Marcos H. Corsham names me because Corsham is M-A-R-C-O-S-H, Marcos H. And if you line up the key with the Giza pyramid, which is with the Thoth code comes in, tells you, kind of gives you the instruction to do it, and you line it up, it actually goes through Corsham. I work just about here, just a tiny bit off the centre of Corsham, but the area is Eastleigh's in Corsham. This is kind of Corsham area. The town of Corsham is here. You can even draw a pyramid on it. I did it in a previous video. Okay, but it literally, so for me to put all this together and make all this fit, drawing a dart 2.5 years before, I realised even the code in it, and then I found this other massive code that led to, you can see what I mean, folks, no coincidence. Clearly, I am being led and given this information and how to find it. So I don't have to come to you and say, oh, God spoke, I hear it all the time, God spoke to me and Jesus spoke to me and I don't know, and all this nonsense, and angels spoke to me. Well, I can tell you, he's not spoke to me once, not actually spoke to me. What he does, he's put it into the Black Knight satellite. There's some kind of amazing technology. There's a plan in there, divine plan. This thing puts things in people's head to call places names, and then obviously they don't even know because it's all different times in history, but when they link up they make pictures, and this is how it comes about. It's been creating the matrix and controlling this whole thing all along. Okay, right. I just want to run by that so we know what we've got a dart, we've got a board. Now we're going to start to find the bullseyes, because this is where it becomes really interesting. like I say, I think it's trying to tell me something, but I've kind of misinterpreted some of this code before. The code's never wrong, but I have been known to misinterpret it, so I'm not going to outrightly say this is the date, but this very, very strange that this all seems to point to something. So bear with me a sec, and it might have been in plain sight all along. Okay, folks, right, this is where it gets absolutely insane. Okay, right, we've got the dartboard. That is represented by the 30th of the 6th. That actually locks in it locks in the target for the ship, basically. So you've got the landing zone and the rendezvous as well. That's the key, is the landing zone, the rendezvous. But this ship is massive. That's what the code said when the James Webb Telescope spotted it, where it was 10 light years away, and then suddenly now it's like going to arrive quickly. So it tells you that this thing can speed up, which I think is relevant to this code. Okay, and the timing of what I'm about to show you. Okay, after the 30th of the 6th went by, I suddenly hit me. Again, I don't know how this happens. Right, okay, 7 days later is the 7th of the 7th. Okay, the 7th of July, which is known as the 7-7 portal. What we're doing, we're finding there's 3 bullseyes, basically. The triple, bear in mind, you've got the triple, it's called the triple tau. Okay, and it's a Solomon symbol, and it's made up of, effectively it's made up of 3 T's, but when you put it together, what you see is it's a tau and a H. It's a H, basically. If I connect that up, it's a H with a T on top, because it's a triple tau that finds, well, like you'll see it's all to do with H. Okay, so the first dart hits 7-7 portal. The date, that's the date. Okay, so the first score on a bullseye is 7-7. Right, now here's where it gets insane. Okay. I was born in a Newport hospital, RGH, and all I'm going to add is the 7-7 because it's a portal. Okay, now when I anagram this down, it says, I just hope I get this right, that's an E. When I SPOT spot PORTAL portal RGH 7-7. So the first one is basically we throw the first dart into this target bullseye. This has been referred to as well. I've got this ton of code that actually calls that the RGH moon target. Like to go through every code would be impossible. But as you can see, it says when I spot portal RGH 7-7. Okay, so what we have is effectively is a date. Now this is where that really haunted thing comes in as well, because that when I was telling you where it was saying map 10, he puts the balls out as well in the shape of the map, and he's talking to it, and it's just talking through him. Be aware, though, that you get the evil stuff comes through in between, but that talks to him. This thing just ignores him, uses him a conduit to get to me. That's why I kept saying, continued observation necessary. I thought it was talking to him. It was clearly talking to me. Then it said, you will understand soon, and then it said event imminent, and I realised that it was talking to me. But what it's doing is showing you it were literally giving me messages via somebody else. The guy has no clue what he's talking about, or not that bit. He understands the evil bit, but to take that into consideration. Okay, so what we have is the first of the 7-7. Okay, the 7-7. So the first 7-7 basically is the portal. It identifies the portal as the Royal Gwent Hospital. Okay, so the portal. So where I came in, basically, I was in the womb on the temple itself. Then I was taken to the Royal Gwent Hospital. I was born in the month of Cancer, hence the Royal Arch in Cancer. Okay, and then I was brought back to the temple, obviously, and so on and so forth. Right, okay. Now then it hit me, or it came to me, I don't know, and I had to check all this stuff to make sure it was right, because I wasn't even sure about it. And where it come with that 77, you can Google it, 77 portal, and it'll tell you, I don't know, it's some divine thing or whatever. Right, okay, but then it's sequential. 8-8, you can probably spot the last one already. So the 8th of the 8th is known, this is where it gets crazy, is known as the Lion's Gate. And this comes from, not Egypt, because, well, what's modern day Egypt, but it's from Kemet, okay, which is what Thoth is all about. They switched Kemet in Egypt. Egypt is actually Cornwall. I'm sorry, excuse me. Which is all to do with this map here. This is Exeter, this is Canaan, Swindon, Egypt, which is pinned with Exeter, and this is Judah. So you got K-E-Y, which is your K-E, which is your key, Canaan, Egypt, Judah. Judah with a Y, it's not Judah, it's Judah. They rewrote the Welsh Bible. Okay, but it's Anglesey and the Holy Head. And what you've got is Seek Yah as well. So it tells you who to seek in that combination of this template and on the map tricks. Okay, so lion. Oh, right. And before I go, not forgetting that Thoth's, he said to call his name 3 times. Cheketet, Aliek and Volomantes. Well, he said to call his name, but his name's Thoth. So I added Thoth to it and then when you encode it, says mark or tie the crest H to the evac hill. And you've got to do it 3 times. So I showed on the last video, without knowing any of this, okay, and that triple tail is a triple Rus Bullseye on the tempo, basically. So what I showed was H was the hospital, the first H. Bear in mind, Job 9:9 also says, please set evac H IDs, hospital. The second one is H-man. And I didn't even know, and I got these in the reverse order, which is weird. And the third H was the hill fort key. Okay. Right, okay, now here's where it gets really weird. Now the lion. The 8-8 is the Lion's Gate portal. Okay, now, again, I know this is going to be a lot for people to take in, and why I don't even know why it's me. How I ended up doing this is beyond me, but clearly you can see that I'm showing you things that shouldn't even be there. Okay, so the Lion's Gate. So, and Justin, thank you for this one as well, buddy, because you were the one that you pointed this out. I didn't even twig it. And you said, oh, that's the Lion's Gate. Well, I thought, and then you said Judah's Lion, or the Lion of Judah, or the Lion of Judah, it should be. Well, Judah's Lion is an anagram of, it's only U, ID as H. That's Judah's lion, because he says, I raise a lion from the tribe of Judah. But it's a code, only U D as H. And then you've got same is H. And obviously, and then I've decoded that Marco's H, so I'm the H man. This is the second part. So the H man is the second part, is the Lion's Gate. Okay, so the bullseye is the second date, it's the 8th for the 8th. Whether there's something connected to that happening, I don't know, or is it just a pinpoint for the dart? Possibly, I don't know. The third one, though, is quite extraordinary. Okay, so that gives you, so the first one is the 7-7, 7th to the 7th confirms, is the dart on the bullseye that confirms the hospital. The second is the 8th of the 8th, which is effectively the Messiah, same as H. It's an anagram of, again, it's well, same is H. Go with Orion's riddle. It's in the last code as well. Tells you to finish with Orion's riddle. Orion's riddle, I take angels all in a belt. That's the code in the pyramids. It tells you the caution name. Free Marco's H. I forget the whole thing. Like I say, I could go on and on with this, but okay, right. Okay, so let's go with the 88th. Now, this is where it gets, like I say, I don't know whether this is telling me. Please, I'm not going to put my neck out and say this, and I'm going to give this, this could well be, but, right, the first thing I want to do, when I decoded the drones, it said that we orbit Earth. I took that as to be the Argus Navis, the drones, the USA drones code, and it said something about collecting threat data to acquire threat data, or something about the acquiring threat data, but it says we orbit Earth. Now, I think what it was getting at, and this is why I'm low, because sometimes, like, I get the code is never wrong, but sometimes I misinterpret it, and I took that to be the Argus orbiting Earth, but I think it's what it is. It's these, like, it must be some kind of, like, I don't want to call them motherships, but there must be a craft going around the Earth, sending in these drones, gathering data, which is why there's this massive uptick over New Jersey, obviously where the code said New Jersey Truth, and telling you about it collecting, and then the following code said about it had collected the drone data, or collected the data, threat data, obviously, and that led from the spearhead, which is where the spear comes in, because the Manchester spearhead told me about, anyway. Okay, so the third, right, now this is where it gets crazy, 9-9. Okay, so that really haunted, said repeating pattern, and something about this, I think it was something about the sequence or something, that's what it referred to, said eyes open but not seeing or something. Well, this got me and led me, and then I realised the repeating pattern 778899, Job 99, which is the code that says I see truth. The Job 99 says I see truth return. So I return on H. Please set evac H IDs. So I don't know, being the third, and it gets crazier yet, or something crazy on top of this. So I don't know whether it's telling me that this ship is coming on the 9th. Is it the 9th or the 9th? I mean, this is obviously 7th of July, 8th of August, and it's always 7 days after the end of the month, 8 days after the end of the month, 9 days after the end of the month. So you literally got your 8777, your 888, and your 999 job. Is this the job completion? It's it's actually an 18 dart finish, which is actually crazy as well. Justin noticed as well, on the last code I did, it said it was Jerusalem Hillfires. Oh, Hillfires. I pointed out that there was 18 coasts, but I was pointing it out. I've cut that short, obviously. But what I noticed as well, it was 18. Is 18? Right, it's 18 darts to get this score down. Okay, to get this gives you to get this 900 score, you need 15 darts. Now you've got 3 single darts on the bullseye. So there's a total of 18 darts. And in this code, when I unscrabbled it, not only does it say Job, split the hill forts, it's 2 lots of 9 as well. So you've got job 9, 9, 18 darts to finish. And it also says, it tells you that the job about the job finish. Like I say, is this even possible? But, so the hill fort key is Job 999. This would be the 888, and this would be the 777. 7 days, 8 days, 9 days into the month. The 9, 8, 7 to 7, the 8th, the 8th, 9th, the 9th. Well, this has been the code all along. 777 is GGG. That's Jerusalem, Gwent, Gymru being Wales. 888 is your Hospital H-Man Hill Fort. And then your 999 is your evac code, basically. Evac job 999. Like I say, folks, is that even possible? All I can say is do what I did. Get your hands up, put your sins on your palms, stand in the letter Y, put your sins on your palms, bow your head down, offer your sins up, not put your hands together, and do not say amen, because that's the greatest deception of all. Ra is the serpent from the Garden of Eden. I've uncoded it. Every time you say amen, you are giving all your prayers, that you're hiding your sins, and you're effectively giving your prayers to the serpent from the Garden of Eden, who has craftily and cunningly disguised it and deceiving the whole world. Effectively, that's what's going on. Like I say, folks, I think, and that last really not the one but last said it said event imminent. Are you prepared? Oh yeah, and just to top it off as well, as above so below. Don't forget that Oh yeah, we need to get the Atlas thing right. Bear with me. Actually, bear with me a second. Okay, just so you know, it's not a fluke as well. I mean, there's more to this as well I could go into. But in the heavens itself, what you've got Orion lines up. I think he goes through the belt as well. You can do it either way. But what they say is a shield. This is clearly a bow. His arms, it's almost like his arms back, and he's firing. And he fires off, and and if you follow the line, he go. And I mean, I'm no expert on stars, but I mean, I've watched enough things, and well, Wayne Herschel is the best one, and he says it goes through the bullseye and then into the Pleiades. This is in Taurus as well. Well, the Pleiades on its own, and these are the 3 Sol moons. This is the star map on Really Haunted. He draws it with 3 saucepans and then 7 cups, and then it starts saying map 10 and everything else. Okay, so that's how I know that code is for me telling me the event is imminent. And the Nibiru event, that's not coming yet. The ship's got to be seen first. It says that in another code. Okay, but if you take the Pleiades, the seven sisters on its own, and scrap it says, see heavens reset, split IDs. Well, when you do, and you put it all together, Orion the Hunter, Aldebaran, which is the bullseye, literally is called the bullseye star in because it's the eye of the bull of Taurus, the bullseye in Taurus, funnily enough. And then you literally take all the words. It says he's seen Orion's riddle, the Atlas starship, and the Nibiru event. See heavens reset, split IDs, and literally you can split them all up into this. Oh, I could go on and on with this, but as above, so below. You can see that there's this. Oh, without getting into it, the key to above and below is this. That's the key to above and below. That's Thoth's key. Okay, but I won't confuse it. Right, okay, now this is where it gets strange. Now I like to say, I don't know, I'm not saying it's definitely the 9th of the 9th, because I'm loath to do it, because obviously if it was wrong, I'm going to look like a turkey and like every other idiot that said that this is a particular date. However, I've got a very strong code that strongly suggests it. However, I may be misreading it. I mean, you can make your own judgment on it, but it's a very strong code. Now, here's something else that I noticed. This is called 3-Eye Atlas. Okay. Hurtling through space, heading towards Earth, apparently going to pass in late, I'm not sure if it's late September or October. Obviously, that's assuming, and so they tell you, this is the rings where, I don't know, there's the sun in the middle, and we're over, I don't know, on here or wherever it is, I don't know, going round in a post, I don't know whether that's true or not, but this thing is hurtling in through space, and it goes past us, and it goes around the sun or something, I don't know, or around the sun. No, it won't be there, will it? It'll be there. But I don't know, but because of the speed it's going, they're saying it's got enough things so it doesn't get pulled in. But, right, if that thing, this is actually, and when I say, it says the Atlas star, see, I keep getting this word like, yes, Atlas, Marcos H. Right, 3-Eye Atlas, here's where it gets really weird. 3, I is the 9th letter of the alphabet. 3-9 Atlas. That would make it 999 Atlas. And we've got the Atlas starship. It called, you know, obviously I know it's named it because they've called this telescope Atlas, but you know, this tetragrammaton works on people all through history. Probably got them to call it Atlas. It's sent to, this is the 3rd interstellar object. The I stands for interstellar, but they're saying it doesn't, well, it's saying it doesn't, it's not acting like a comet, it has no tail, and well, I'm pretty, well, I really start, I'm 99, well, no, I don't even want, yeah, no, I am, I kind of feel 99.9% sure that could be the ship. As to the date of is it, I mean, or Job 9:9, where it says, I return on H, please set all evac H IDs. And the 3rd bullseye is on the 9th of the 9th. Probably, if I was going to say potshot it, maybe 9 a.m. in the morning on the 9th of the 9th. Is that in Job 9:9? I mean, has it been in plain sight all along that the 999 job is possibly at 9, and I don't hold me to this, the 9 a.m. in the morning on the 9th of the 9th. Is that the whole purpose of this code and what it's trying to tell me? Like I say, folks, I know I'm leaving it open, but what I don't want to do is, I've misinterpreted code before. I mean, this is hard to misinterpret. I mean, it's clear what it's saying. It's either pinpointing the 99 job and the code of job that is coming, or it is an exact date. To which I don't want to say definite, because if it doesn't happen, like I say, I don't want people being put off because of my misinterpretation and error. All I will say, whatever happens, this is getting close, folks. All we need is that water kick in, and the Cancer constellation, obviously the prophecy, and I think the key to prophecy is in the Cancer constellation. You say, you know, the stars tell you, it says, well, like I say, I can't even go into it all, but it's Israel-Iran begin, opens up last conflict, USA-China, Europe, UK, Russia. And what's weird, I had decoded this long ago. It wasn't like I decoded it yesterday. And I even said four years ago, my mum backed me up, Justin backed me up. I was saying about this war, and the UK was going to go to war with Russia when it was not even a sniff. Even Ukraine hadn't been invaded. It wasn't obvious. I said the USA and China as well. Maybe that was a bit more obvious, but not at the time. It was all at peace. But here we are, and I uncoded the bear raising up. That's the Finnish border. There's Russian troops massing on the Finnish border. They're building bases. I mean, it's all looking nuclear. And the message says then, bolt thy last I am Jew message, seal all. But at that point, my last message was, as Jew, evac ship land melin, seal Marco's Orion name. My Orion name is, well, it's in Orion's riddle. Same as H, Messiah. Like I said, I don't know how it's even possible, but I can only give you what the code says. But in reality, like I say, you have to ask yourself, how am I able to put all this together and show, like, it's beyond, this is, what I'm doing is not human, I can assure you. This is not Marco's got honestly, the memory of a goldfish. I promise you, short-term memory, got nothing. Long-term memory is average. But for some reason, I just see this code and I understand it in an instant. I mean, it's been 4 months I've uncoded all this, but it's not even realistically, I could have probably done it in a day if I had all the information in one hit, but it drip feeds down as the tetragrammaton is remote anagram satellite. That's what it decodes as, I see all. And it remotely anagrams bits and pieces down, but then, and it just all clicks together, and I kind of work it out in an instant. And that, honestly, I'm not lying to you when I tell you that even I am literally, I'm gobsmacked every time I find these things. And when I find it, well, like I say, I just pass it on. What the code says, and that, you know, that's what the deal was, that I do this code and put it out there. And it kept telling me to stick with the plan, because I didn't know where it was going or what it was about. I wasn't religious, and I'm certainly no blooming genius, that's for certain. I'm a security guard, average intelligence and a memory of a goldfish, and I'm not even, I kid you not. Yet then when it comes to this, I can do it in a heartbeat. Anyway, on that note, folks, Yah's blessings to you. Get right with him now.